Good morning! I am Jeffrey Lacan and today I was assigned to discuss about the topic determining wind direction and speed. This topic is composed of the following objectives. First, define wind, causes, classification and types. Second, determine the wind direction and speed. And the third, elaborate the device or measurement used. Before we begin, let's define wind first. Wind is the movement of air caused by the uneven heating of the earth by the sun. And it is a moving air also that is caused due to the differences in air pressure within our atmosphere. Differences in atmospheric pressure generate winds. At the equator, the sun warms the water and land more than it does the rest of the globe. Warm equatorial air rises to the higher to the atmosphere and migrates towards the pole. This is a low-pressure system. At the same time, cooler, denser air moves over Earth's surface toward the equator to replace the heated air. This is a high-pressure system. Winds generally blow from high-pressure areas to low-pressure areas. The boundary between these two areas is called a front. On Earth, winds are broadly classified into three categories: primary wind or planetary wind, tertiary wind or local wind, and secondary wind or periodic wind. Primary winds constantly blow throughout the year in a particular direction. Tertiary wind or local wind, winds that change their direction in different seasons. Secondary wind occur in many locations throughout the world. Tertiary wind blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area. There are also types of wind such as trade wind, westerlies, monsoon winds, land breeze, and sea breeze to be discussed later. Trade winds are also known as tropical easterlies and blow from the right to the north hemisphere and to the left in the southern hemisphere due to Coriolis effect and very slow. They start blowing from the subtropical high pressure areas towards the equatorial low pressure belt. Westerlies blow from the subtropical high-pressure belt toward the subpolar low-pressure belts. The westerlies of the southern hemisphere are more robust and constant than the westerlies of the northern hemisphere. Monsoon winds. A monsoon is a wind in low-latitude climates that periodically reverses direction between summer and winter. Monsoons usually flow from the land in winter and from water to land in summer. Monsoon winds is normally experienced in Asia, specifically the Philippines and the African region. The last type of wind to be discussed is the land breeze and sea breeze. Land breeze is a local wind system that is characterized by winds that blow from land to sea, carrying no moisture. Land breeze, however, is a process that takes place for the duration of the night, and above-mentioned processes get reversed. Both the land and the sea start cooling down when the sun sets. The sea breeze is a process that takes place for the duration of the day. Both sea and land surface is heated up by the sun. The sea heats up slower than the land because it has a much higher heat capacity. Thus, the temperature over the land surface increases, in turn, heating up surrounding air. Next to discuss is the wind direction. Wind direction is generally reported by the direction from which it originates. Wind direction is usually reported in cardinal or compass direction or in a degree. Wind direction also describes the direction on a compass from which the wind emanates, for instance, from the north or from the west. How to determine wind direction? Weather forecasts typically give the direction of the wind along with its speed. For example, a northerly wind at 15 km per hour is a wind blowing from the north at a speed of 15 km per hour. As we can see in the picture, this is an example of weather forecast which can be found in our phone widget. In other words, wind speed is a fundamental atmospheric quantity caused by air moving from high to low pressure, usually due to changes in temperature. Meter per second is the SI unit for the velocity and the unit recommended by the World Meteorological Organization for reporting wind speed. Wind speed unfortunately affects the weather forecast, the project construction, the maritime, and the aviation. Accordingly, modern instruments used to measure wind speed and direction are called anemometer and wind vanes. This type of instrument are used by the wind energy industry, both for wind resources assessment, and turbine control. The stronger the wind blows, the faster the wheel rotates. The anemometer counts the number of rotations, which is used to calculate the wind speed. A wind vane is also called a weather vane. It is a tool for measuring wind direction and was probably one of the first weather instruments ever used. To determine the wind direction, a wind vane spins and points in direction from which the wind is coming and generally has two parts or end. One that is usually shaped like an arrow and turns into the wind, and one end that is wider so that it catches the breeze.